I'm here to disrupt everything the diet and food industry has told you for years. What if you could stop obsessing over food and weight, understand exactly what your body really needs to thrive, all while learning how to feel empowered, confident, and in control? Hey there, I'm Carrie Lipoli, a certified nutritionist, award-winning educator, behavioral specialist, international speaker, and mom of two amazing college-age daughters. I'm here to help you disrupt everything the diet industry has told you about your health and your body. So here's the truth. Sure, what we put in our bodies matters, and it's more than just nutrition. As a nutritionist and a behavioral expert, I'm uniquely qualified to marry both the science of what our bodies need along with how to change your relationship with food, and all while realizing your value. I want to help teach you to reach your health, wellness, and yes, even weight loss goals with powerful conversations, science-backed strategies, and real talk. I'll teach you how to break free from the cycle of dieting, deprivation, and self-sabotage and start truly living. No more temporary fixes here, just sustainable wellness for you, your family, and your future that no one is talking about. You were not put on this earth to find the right diet, so it's time to stop living like you were. Join me each and every week as I share practical advice, a fresh perspective on the power of mindset, and tips that empower you to live your purpose, all while still enjoying the foods you love. And yeah, that even includes carbs. So if you want something different, you have to do something different. Consider me your something different. Welcome to the Diet Disruptors Podcast. Well, hey there, Diet Disruptors. Carrie here. And today we are talking all about going from chronic illness to vibrant living. It's possible. And we have an incredible guest that's going to share her journey with us, not only on how she is now living vibrantly, but exactly how she's doing it, what she did, her story, and how she helps others to do the same. So Alane Pearce is here. She is a certified health and nutrition coach. She is also a lifestyle coach, which it speaks to my heart because this isn't going to be just around like nutrition and food. We know it's all so much more than just nutrition. She helps women to reclaim their vitality and their joy. She overcame significant health obstacles. I cannot wait for her to share all that she has been through because I think it's going to help you see hope. She understands the challenges women face, and her approach, how she helps people, goes so far beyond dieting. It's what I wanted her to be able to talk about, because when you think about chronic illness, when you think about autoimmune disease, which is what we're going to talk about, and how she has come through the other side, and it doesn't have anything to do with dieting. In fact, dieting actually makes it worse. She is going to show us how to break free from all of that. She has been a guest coach in the PFC3 movement. She has been helping clients all over the country, and she brings this beautiful, unique blend of empathy and expertise to her coaching. And so, Alane, I am so excited that you are here. We are going to talk all things autoimmune, chronic illness, and still being able to live with vitality and joy. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here.
So we have so much to talk about because your story is powerful. You have Hashimoto's, is that right?
I do. Yeah. I've had it for a long time.
First, before we get into all of the things that you're going to talk about, can you just explain what that is so people understand that don't know?
Yeah. So Hashimoto's is a kind of a thyroid disorder. There's a lot of people that have thyroid issues, slow thyroid, fast thyroid, but Hashimoto's is a kind of thyroid disorder that's actually an autoimmune disease. So it actually, there's about 400,000 people in just the US that deal with just Hashimoto's. So it's a disease where your thyroid is very confused and sends out strange signals to your body.
Which results in what? What kind of symptoms do they
So, yeah, so it results in fatigue and brain fog and muscle weakness and a slow metabolism, which is why a lot of people with Hashimoto's have trouble with weight.
have?
It also can affect your bones, and it can be a precursor to other autoimmune diseases.
So even if you don't have Hashimoto's, but you have an autoimmune disease or know anybody that does, this is going to be such an important episode because we are going to talk through all the things that Alane did, and you've had guidance and doctors and knowledge, information, and yet you were going down a path that was actually making things worse. And when you finally figured out how to do what your body really needed, everything changed. So let's kind of dig into it. All the things that let's go into your story as somebody living with Hashimoto's and the things that you have tried and the experiences that you've had to be able to kind of move past this so you could live vibrantly.
Yeah, I'd love to share that. So, when I first got diagnosed with Hashimoto's, I had nodules on my thyroid, which is one of the signs and symptoms of
How old were you then?
Hashimoto's. I was in my 30s,
How old are you
maybe.
now?
And I'm 56,
Okay.
57. I'm not sure. I don't count anymore.
I love that. Okay, great. We don't need a scale. We don't need a calendar.
We don't. We're just going to live every day. So, yeah. So I had been dealing with infertility issues for a long time, and that's sometimes a result of having a thyroid issue. And I went to the doctor, they found nodules, and then they handed me a brochure and they said, "You probably have Hashimoto's." And they handed me a brochure and sent me on my way.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, so, and this was back, late 90s, early 2000s. And I guess maybe they didn't know as much. I don't know. But I ended up having to do a lot of research by myself. And so,
Well, we know, there's a lot of acute care. Doctors are great at trauma and acute care, and then, pharmaceutical.
yeah,
And so,
exactly.
did they go down that route with you in terms of pharmaceuticals when they brochure?
No, actually, this doctor didn't at first. I really had to push, but I finally went to a naturopath so I could get some natural thyroid hormone because I didn't want the synthetic
Yeah.
kind. And I really looked into a lot of the natural ways of healing this. And a lot of people suggested, deprivation diets to try to lose weight, or get your shots and take your hormones and all these different things.
Wait, let's talk about that for a second
Yeah,
because
yeah,
this is where I get like really on my kind of, I don't know. I put my sword down on this. We constantly talk about weight loss as opposed to health. And so when we focus on weight loss, which is exactly what happened to you, you were told to diet, to deprive yourself because you
mhm,
needed to lose weight versus needing to actually balance your body and get to true health.
exactly. And getting the thyroid healthy.
Mhm.
And addition to that, on the internet, you always learn of supplements you should take, and this you should try, and that you should try. And it really turned out to be an expensive endeavor.
Of
I was really
experimenting in your
happy.
body.
Yeah, yeah. So I was really happy when I finally found something that works, that is easy to do.
Yeah. So let's talk about all that you did because you for years were on diet after diet. Let's talk about all the things that you did because I think that story will really resonate with people because you were trying to get healthy. If you think about it, right? Like I get it.
Yes.
If we weigh more than what we want to weigh, we're focused on weight loss. But you having Hashimoto's and having all the symptoms that go along with it, you were focused on health. At least you wanted to be.
I thought I was. Yeah. I thought that by losing weight, I would get healthy. And so, you try programs at the gym, and after a year, you don't lose weight because your metabolism is slow and it's struggling. And then you quit. And then you try Weight Watchers and you count points and you still don't succeed. And you cry when you do public weigh ins and you quit,
Oh.
you know.
Yep. And so how many years did you really diet? Did you do that? And how many diets do you think you tried?
At least at least 25 years that I've dieted, and I've tried every diet on the planet. Um,
Up until the last thing that you did was what?
the last thing that I did was PFC3.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. Before you figured out how to balance blood sugar, what did you do
Before
before
I found
that?
out about that. The last thing I did, yeah, I did my third round of shots and deprivation diet, the 800 calorie diet, and I was worn out. My muscles were wasting away. My hair was falling out.
Injecting
And
yourself.
injecting myself. And I was not living. I was sitting on the couch waiting for bedtime. I was so exhausted because my body wasn't getting the nutrients that it needed.
Today's episode is brought to you by Resist protein bars. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, yes, of course, you want to be eating clean, whole, unprocessed food as much as possible. But also, we're busy, right? And so we have to still be able to fuel our body in a way that it loves. And protein bars are often a really good source of fueling. However, the problem is there's so many ones on the market that either spike your blood sugar uncontrollably or they're filled with all sorts of nasty ingredients. And to be honest with you, most of them are both. That's why I love Drew and Emily, two women who decided they were going to crack the code on how you can produce a protein bar that not only tastes great, but also has wonderful ingredients and won't spike your blood sugar. Think about the name Resist, like insulin resistance. Blood sugar balance is what they are all about. I love that they are a company of women that also are a company that cares about what we put in our body. So if you are interested to try as a great meal replacement to one of your PFC meals, check out eatresist.com and use the code PFC315 to get 15% off. So when you really figured out balancing your blood sugar was the key, and eating PFC3. I love that story because at the end of the day, you now teach this to others. You now have your own thriving business to be able to help other people with autoimmune disease and other issues that you had be able to see that there's another way. So
Exactly.
what was it? Let's bring you to the fact of like what made you decide you were going to go a whole different route? Because once you understood what it took to balance your blood sugar, you weren't going to be on a diet anymore. You weren't going to be depriving yourself anymore, which can sound great. But I gotta believe with all the years ingrained in you around the idea that everybody told you you had to restrict. I feel like that had to be a scary decision to say, I'm going to actually start eating.
It really was. It was a very scary decision. And what had happened is I had a surgery, so I had to go off the HCG. Glad I did. But I knew I was going to gain the weight back because all three other times I had done it, I had gained the weight back.
Which is the measure of success.
Exactly.
Right?
So I felt like a failure. I hated everything that was happening to me. Hated myself because I felt like such a failure after trying 14 different diets and never being able to succeed because my metabolism wasn't working right. So I was really at rock bottom. And the only thing I hadn't tried, honestly, was blood sugar balance. And people were starting to wear CGMs and talking about it more. And I thought, I wonder if this is the key. And that's when I found PFC3 and learned how much it can help me.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what you did differently that women need to be thinking about, or men with autoimmune issues. How do you fuel your body to really balance your blood sugar?
Yeah. So, when your metabolism is slow, it tells you that something isn't working. And I have learned that when you deprive your body of food, your blood sugar goes wacky. And then it grabs what it needs from your muscles because its job is to keep your metabolism working. And so it grabs from your muscles, which is why I was so weak and tired all the time. And then I learned PFC3, eating protein, fat, and carbs every 3 hours. At first I thought, oh my gosh, that's so much food. And how am I going to eat every
when you were
3
eating
hours?
800 calories a day.
Exactly. So it seemed like, 3 times the amount of food. It isn't. It's a
Well,
nice
and not to mention the fact that like you don't even deal with the calories,
no.
right?
Yeah. I have no idea of my calories anymore. I eat when I get hungry because my body has finally balanced and I can hear when it's hungry and I stop when it's satisfied. And then about 3 hours later, I'm ready for more proteins, fats, and carbs because my body is wanting it for my blood sugar balance.
Okay, so
That
as
was fascinating to learn.
it is amazing science, right? So
It
as a
is.
person with Hashimoto's, like when we think about food, all food is protein, fats, and carbs, right? So yes, I mean, like ice cream is a fat and a carb, right? But for
Right.
somebody like you, that honestly, we could talk about this with anybody when it comes to nutrient absorption and eating food that serves our body versus always eating food that serves our soul. It's not
Mhm.
when you're, how does an autoimmune issue determine the types of foods that you're going to fuel your body with? Because it makes a difference. While all food is protein, fats, and carbs, you have to be thoughtful, though, for you about the types of foods that you're putting in your body. Am I right?
Exactly. I really do. I eat a little bit more protein than what's generally prescribed just because you need a little bit more protein when you have an autoimmune disease. And you you find that things like for me, I found that dairy was really inflammatory for me. And when I ate dairy, I could feel my joints swelling up and my stomach getting bloated. I love dairy. I love cottage cheese. I love Greek yogurt, but it wasn't worth feeling like that anymore. And once I got my blood sugar balanced and I could hear these signals that my body was telling me, I learned that dairy is not worth the pain that I get in my joints and in my digestive system. So, knowing what my body needs helps me understand what I want to give it instead of what I have to give it in a diet.
Oh,
So that's really the difference of the mindset, right? It's not something prescribed that I have to do, but it's something that I'm choosing to do because I know that it's going to make me feel my best.
you bring up a good point about mindset. When you're working with women to be able to help them be successful, especially those with autoimmune issues. So many people think I just need somebody to tell me what to eat. And you, as somebody that has gone through this whole process, I mean, after 25 years of dieting, there's some level of PTSD when it comes to your body, your thinking, your confidence, all of those things. So when you're working with women, how do you incorporate the mindset piece in? Because I got to believe that so many of them come to you thinking, okay, just show me how to be able to help my physical condition that I have. But so much of the work that you did to get to where you are was around mindset. So
It truly
what do
was.
you have to do with clients to help them get to that point too?
Well, I think I have to bring them back to understanding their body. For me, when I learned how hard my body was working just to keep my blood sugar stable when I wasn't feeding it what it needed, I literally broke down in tears because it clicked this switch for me for from hating my body, thinking it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do, to understanding that it was working hard and overtime to do what it was supposed to do. So I share that story with people to help them understand that our body is our friend. It wants to keep us alive. And when we can slow down and when we can get all the additives and preservatives and junk out of our diets, we can really listen to what our body needs and what it's telling us.
I love that. That's such an important piece. And your revelation about dairy is such an interesting switch because when a diet tells you you can't have something, you almost want it more. You just
Exactly.
you made the decision not to have it because of how it made you feel. So how does that allow, like, I talk about the discipline of declining a lot. How are you able to decline the dairy differently now than maybe before in your dieting days?
Oh, for me, it used to be hard to decline because, like I said, I love it. I love some ice cream, right? But the difference is really knowing what it does to my body. And so it helps me make a better decision for me. I love the energy that I have now. Um, we haven't really been able to get into this, but because my blood sugar is stabilized, my body doesn't have to work so hard to do that. So it works to give me energy and help with the brain fog and help me recover from exercising. And when I see that my body is doing that, I don't want to give it dairy to make it slow down and be sluggish again because my body's doing what I want it to do. And so I want to feed it what it needs.
It's easy to do things that, that kind of don't serve your body when you're not feeling great.
Yeah. Yeah.
You might as well just add insult to injury, right?
Exactly. Because it doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
It's that callus that I talk about. Okay. So your journey has been one that I've loved watching because you were in this belief system in some ways, and I love talking about belief systems around strength training. And that kind of there was a belief in some ways that you couldn't either push too hard or do too much, but you have kind of proven that to not be the case. Talk about the impact of strength training, especially for people with Hashimoto's or autoimmune issues, why it's so important.
That was really surprising to me because you gave us the challenge to work out 4 times a week. And I'm like, there is no way. I'm barely doing 1 a week. And, sometimes I get tired.
And I love that because as a coach, we all need coaches, right? And I love that I was able to push you a little bit because you're doing such amazing work with clients, and up-leveling yourself will allow you to up-level even more with your clients. So keep going. Let's talk about.
Exactly. Yeah. So I pushed back to you a little bit. I'm like, there's no way. I have autoimmune disease. Don't you know that doing extra things makes me tired? And you're like, just try it. So I did. But I did some research too. And I learned that strength training directly addresses a lot of the issues that we have with autoimmune disease, with muscle loss and bone weakening and slow metabolism, that building your muscles actually helps those things. And so I started doing my workouts. And I mean, honestly, the first week I did morning workouts because that's what you're supposed to do. I would get tired because that's one of the things with autoimmune disease. If you do push yourself, you get fatigued quickly. And so I decided that I was feeling better, even though I was tired. So I did some tweaks and made sure that I could put this into my life in a way that helps me and could help somebody with autoimmune disease too. So there's 3 things that I did to be able to handle the fatigue from working out. One is I made sure to eat extra protein because you need extra protein to repair your muscles after you use them and for energy.
What's your favorite protein?
Oh, I once or twice a week, I cook a bunch of chicken tenderloins, either in the air fryer or in the oven, and just season them differently. And so they're always really easy to just grab a couple of those with an apple and that, and some ranch if I want or something. And eat it quickly that way. So that's one of my go-tos. And boiled eggs, a couple of boiled eggs and an egg white. Yeah, those are my go-tos. But anyway, so I do that. I also made sure to fuel within an hour before working out so that my body could have the energy that it needed so it didn't have to draw from reserves.
Yep.
And
so
then
a PFC, a protein, fat, and carb before.
Exactly. Yes. A full protein, fat, and carb meal. And then, did I say this yet? I worked out in the afternoon. So I knew that it would make me tired because sometimes it does. And so I just moved my workouts to that third meal after that third meal so that if it did fatigue me, I only had to get through dinner and clean up and then I could go to bed. I didn't have to push through all day. Yeah. That helped a lot.
That's helping. I love that. And so what you did was you didn't allow your excuses of being tired to keep you from doing what you needed to do. I mean, it's such a mom thing, right? But we never do it for ourselves. We're tired, but yet we still show up for our kids. You were tired, but you still showed up for yourself. and taking ownership of what you knew you needed to do. And I love that because I know that as a coach, you want your clients to also essentially be their own nutrition boss in a way.
Mhm.
And that's what you do for yourself. And I want to just encourage people listening to be like, okay, there's a lot of information out there. It doesn't have to be that confusing. It's pretty simple, but have the empowerment to make the tweaks that you need to make to be able to do the things that you know you need to do for your body.
And
But
that's what I love about what we do, right? Is that it's so personal. You may not have to give up dairy, but I choose to. And you can do your workouts in the morning, but they help me in the afternoon. So
yeah,
it's very neat that it can be very tailored to what you need, which is perfect for somebody with autoimmune disease.
exactly, exactly. I mean, the foundational piece of this is balancing your blood sugar. And then from there, it's around understanding how to be able to make it a lifestyle, which is what you are so good at when it comes to teaching others. So, what would be your like kind of final words for somebody with an autoimmune disease that just feels like they've tried all the things, they're super frustrated, and they're just mad at their body?
Yeah. First of all, I feel you, girl. I was there and I know how frustrating it is to try things and feel like a failure and try things and feel like a failure, but hang in there. Um, if you learn to balance your blood sugar, if you're eating to fuel your body instead of hurt your body, if you are moving and strengthening your muscles, you're going to give your body everything it needs so that it can address how you're feeling. Because once blood sugar is balanced, you'll be able to address your sore joints and your fatigue, and you'll know the things that your body wants from you. And it's so freeing and it's so empowering and it's so different from anything you've ever done before. It's worth it.
I love it, love it, love it. All right, so Elaine, how can people find you if they have an autoimmune issue and they're like, okay, I need to talk, I need to connect with Elaine?
I would love to talk to you. You can find me on Instagram, Alane Pearce Coaching. It's ALANEPEARCE. And also, that's my website, alanepearcecoaching.com.
Beautiful. So make sure you follow her. Tons of tips around autoimmune and what we need to be doing as a society that isn't really sharing as much as they need to about how to thrive and live vibrantly, even when you have such a diagnosis. So, Elaine, thank you so much. You're such a wealth of knowledge, and your success story just inspires, hopefully, inspires others to be able to see, okay, I got this, I can do this. There is hope, and I don't have to have shots and minimal calories and live this life of deprivation. You are just such a testament to what it looks like when you're finally focused on health versus weight loss.
Right,
Awesome.
right. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Carrie.